try to go over this real quick. It's that one script.
Huh?
Yeah.
Brothers, we need their head covered. Sisters, pray with their heads fully covered. We face the east towards Jerusalem, where our temple was, and where our temple in Hamashiach shall return. Elder, can you open us up in prayer, please?
Heavenly Father, the power of our forefathers, the power of our father Abraham, the power of our father Isaac, and the power of our father Yaakov, that fulfilled his covenant to our forefather through the covenant land, through Mashiach, sealing it by his own blood, fulfilling the prophetic word to make us a people for his name's sake. We come before your throne of mercy, Heavenly Father, praying that you open up the hearts of your people to your word, Father, for all these things are sealed up among your treasure as you revealed it to your servants, the prophets. Open our eyes that your will might be done, and help us to come out of ourselves and our Babylonian fantasies and imaginations that we have power to initiate anything. We give you the praise, we give you the glory, we give you the honor for, again, knowing all things. You reveal what is going to happen. All we have to do is be obedient, as our father David was, and the prophets that came before us, that we might please you, that you might be merciful unto us, into our homes, into our children, into our houses, that again you might bless us to be that principal nation in the earth, that you might switch the spirit from the church period and anoint your people Israel to be that nation after thousands of years. This is the time for your kingdom, Father, and we give you the glory. For again, this is not sealed up among the prophets and among your messengers. We give you the glory for these hidden things, for what you're about to do with a mighty hand in making us that are not a people, a kingdom and a nation, to the confounding of the Gentiles. Again, in your name we ask these mercies according to your word, which cannot lie. Hallelujah.
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 Praise you.
Praise God.
Well, we give thanks again to be able to come before you with the word. And again, it's not our word. We did not write these scriptures, but again, we do live at such a time in history where we're at what we call the end time. The end of what? The end of the time of the Gentiles. We've been in the period of what is called formerly the church period, or the time of the Gentiles. This is, again, how the Father defines the period of time since the Messiah was offered up, and the period of time until such time that he will return. So again, we're still in the time of the church period, or the time of the Gentiles, and I keep emphasizing that. And that's what we're observing. If you're living in these end times, no matter where you are on the earth, it's like the system is shut down. It is shut down because the Father is getting everybody's attention that he's about to transition to create a new order in the earth. I mean, he's about to establish his kingdom. We are witnesses or messengers of what he's about to do. Meaning we have prophesied of the 400 years, meaning we didn't prophesy, but the Father told us that the 400-year period was coming to an end, and we that had the spirit to understand that he wasn't speaking about some vague thing that happened thousands of years ago, that he's speaking to his people that are in captivity in these end times. We are a people, the so-called Negroes, the Bantu, the Hebrew, the seed of Abraham. We are a people. We are E1B1A. We are a genetic stock. We are the seed of Abraham. We are the salt of the earth. So again, what makes this thing flavorful. It's our culture, our music, our humor, our flavor that rules the world. So again, we do not know that we're the Jews. They call us soul people. We're known by many different monikers or tags, but not by our national identity. We're not known as the children of Yah. We're not known as the seed of Abraham. We're not known as the tribe of Judah or the nation of Yashra'al. We're known as Negroes, niggaboos. We're known as African American. We're known by many false titles, but the word identifies who we are as a people. And not only does it identify us, it identifies when he's going to wake us up, because we're described in Ezekiel 37 as experiencing being in a stage of death. We don't have it said we go many days without a seraphim, a teraphim, a king, an image, meaning we don't have anything representing us as a government. And it would be many days. It's been 2,000 years since we've had a temple or a nationalistic representative body or congregant representing for the nation of Israel. But they asked the Messiah 2,000 years ago, would you at this time establish your kingdom? He said, no, well, it's not for you to know the time which is in his hand. And this is what we bearing witness to, brothers and sisters. It's like we're going to read this scripture and go over the 400-year prophecy, and then we have a treat today. Again, it was a treat for me and my heart to see my brother Jonathan has visited us, and he's going to return and be a reader. And I'm going to call him up in a minute. I just want to read this scripture. And it's just so apropos because he had set up a dialogue between me and another good elder, Elder Neriyahu. So we had seen differently on, the perspective of the 400 years. And again, we know in part, as the word saying, we prophesy in part. So none of us know it all. But again, it's very important that we understand that in this time that we living in, the Father has sealed and wrote this in the book. He's not going to put something in the book if it's not important. Why would he put 400 years if it's just, it's nothing? So again, we're trying to get our brothers' attention. Again, a lot of our brothers are political, or they understand, things from a worldly or a physical reality. Mm-hmm. Amen. Mm-hmm. And that's no offense. We have ambassadors, representatives that represent our nation on all kind of levels. I myself am an artist, and I understand symbols. You understand? So, that's my gift that I offer to the nation. A lot of what you're seeing, the symbol of the lamb or the symbol of the lion, these are just symbols that this Creator uses. It so happens that our Messiah is symboled in Scripture in Revelations 5 and 6 as a lion. He conquered death. He's the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. And as a lamb, he died to atone us and fulfill the Passover, or us being a nation or coming into a heavenly covenant, if you will. So again, these are symbolic language. If you don't understand the language, then you just playing church games, basically, because you don't understand the lamb or the covenant. You don't understand the lion, which is the fire or the power of Yah. So again, we do understand, and I give thanks for my brother YAH, and again, we have a visitor here, Brother Jonathan, has graced these gates, and we give a shout out to his moray, Brother Asa, one who deals with, what you call it? Agriculture. Mm-hmm. Within the Hebrew Israelite community, a giant.
Building homes and
all kind of things. So again, he's a doer. He's not sitting around waiting for somebody to fly down and give him something. I really much respect to all brothers that are alive at this season, this end time, that we must come together for our own salvation. Meaning that he told us, this is in Zephaniah 2:1, come together, O nation not desired. Meaning nobody want to see us become a nation. We don't even want, we Negroes. We just want a welfare check or a lot of hits on YouTube or Facebook or wherever. We not studying being a nation. But again, this is Yah's purpose, and we better hurry up and wake up, because it behooves us to understand what he's doing, not so much that he understand what we doing. So again, this word seals the 400 years. We're going to read that, and then I'm going to get out the way and let my brother Yonatan come back over here and sit in the saddle again. And I pray that the people that have understand the history of Savior Word of Yah or the Israelite gathering page, that they understand that this brother Yonatan was one of the founders that helped my brother YAH build this, as we're still trying to, again, reach out to the elders and to, the significant anointed vessels within our community, that we come together for this nationalistic dialogue, meaning I don't want to talk about church, I don't want to talk about food, I don't want to talk about clothing, I don't want to talk about Jesus or philosophy. I want to talk about the word say his kingdom, us being a nation, is at hand. And with their system going out, and that's what we're going to read about, it behooves us to understand that the Father's purpose, he holds the reins of power, and he's breaking one system down to redeem another or to wake up his people. So we'll see that, and then again, I look forward to their interaction again and pray that we can, as a community, move forward. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Okay, so we're going to go to Genesis 15, and we can read verse 12.
All right. Bear sheep, Genesis chapter 15.
Well, we can start.
You want to start up?
Yeah.
Verse 3.
9.
9?
Yeah.
Bear sheep, Genesis 15 and verse 9. And he said unto him,
To Abram. This is the father to Abram. Go ahead.
Take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon.
Okay, so he specified that he is to take 3 large animals of 3 years old. Now, there's no accident with the father, so this 3 years is very significant. And even the 2 half pieces, the turtle dove and the young pigeon, they're not as large as sides of goat or heifer or ram. These are large pieces which represent something that the Father significantly has revealed to me prophetically. And again, I don't know how many people out there understand this, but again, it's very significant for end time prophetic understanding.
Right.
The numbering and the sacrifices being offered. But we're going to look at this and bring this together. Abraham is making an offering, and the Father's going to reveal to him an end time revelation that we need to be paying attention to. Because sad to say, or happy to say for me, we are in I prayed to see these times. I'm alive seeing the Father fulfill his prophetic word. I debated that prophetic word a year ago on this same stage, where I was trying to let our people understand that these 400 years is for our time, and this is our, sign. You say, rise and shine, for thy light is come. This is our time. There's no time playing games now. This is our power. As he breaks the back of Egypt and the system, he's going to lift up his people and establish his kingdom.
Amen.
Hallelujah. All right. So read on now.
Verse 10. And he took unto him all these and divided them in the midst and laid each piece one against another.
Now let's picture this, because again, he's showing you something. You can't just run over this, and this is what most people do.
Right.
Well, it's a sacrifice, it's a few goats or whatever. But no, we're Savior Word of Yah. Our Savior is understanding the Father's word, because we are people, we human. We need that direction. We need his word. We don't know nothing. So when you put these 3 and you divide them and put them together, you got 3 and a pieces, 3 big pieces and a half piece on one side.
Right, the birds.
The bird. And you got 3 pieces and a bird on the other side. Can everybody picture that out there?
It's 3.5 and 3.5.
All right. Well, or you could look at it as 3.5 and 3, and they were joined. So he's letting you know it has to be all together joined. So 3.5 equals 7, because something is going to happen that we must be aware of. The 3.5 piece and 3, because something's going to happen. Let's read on. Let's see what happened.
All right. Verse and the birds divided he not. Verse 11.
Okay.
And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away.
Now, this offering represents to a degree our people in the circumstance of we are the Father's people and we are not in our land, and we have served these 400 years. And he's about to tell you about the 400 years. But what I'm trying to share here is that this message is to us in the end times. And again, I'm going to take my time, because now, before it was no sign of the end time. I'm just debating based on my knowledge of scripture and my prophetic understanding. But now we're seeing evidences and signs, but yet still people still are blind and don't know what these signs speak to. Am I right or wrong? Right. So again, we're going to try to, through the word, let people understand more clearly what God's purpose is, the Creator's purpose in revealing these scriptures at this season for us who are living in these end times. Okay, let's go.
All right, Bereshit chapter 15 and verse 12.
All right, and this is very important.
And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram.
Can we stop right there? What does that mean? When the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. What does that mean?
We fell asleep as a nation. We lost identity, who we are.
When?
About 2,000 years ago.
See? So it says, that's why I said I'm going to take time and teach this. It didn't say 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago, the sun wasn't going down. The sun was going down about 400 years ago.
Well, yeah, the last portion of it.
But the word say when the sun was going down. That means 400 years ago. I want everybody to understand. All right, do you understand? 400 years ago. 400 years ago, the sun is going down on this world. Do we understand that? Is everybody clear? Even television land. 400 years ago, and now the 400 years are up. So we're at the door of 6,000 years being fulfilled already. You only get how many years? You get 6,000. Then the 7,000 belongs to the millennial. This is the rule of, the sabbatical kingdom of Mashiach. So when you know prophecy, you know everything is in order and aligned. That's why I had the debate over the 400 years, because the word cannot shift itself or be whatever. Am I right or wrong? He wrote this for us. So now if you have 7,000 years altogether was the Father Yahweh's purpose in revealing this book. 7,000 years. Is people clear on that? So man's rule is how long? 6,000 years. That's why the system is called 666. It's the number of a man. Man was created on the 6th day. This is his beast system. Man is an animal. So being an animal, the Father, and he wanted to rule, the Father going to give the beast, the animal, a kingdom, a system by which he can rule. So and this was all prophesied and revealed from the beginning. So I'm not bringing anything that wasn't known, at least by certain people in the past. Now, I'm an elder, and I knew that, yes, the 666 system or kingdom of the beast is coming, the new world order, call it whatever you will, and that, again, it is to last a short time, maybe 7 years, maybe 10 at the most, and then after that, he's establishing a kingdom that will never fade away. Mashiach is returning. He's going to hit the kingdom in the feet. You know, they're part of iron and part of clay, meaning it's an alien Adamic mix. The aliens are trying to get their, chip or DNA into us and keep us from returning or maintaining salvation. So again, this alien system is for a reason. This is Lucifer been running this world ever since Messiah. Messiah said, well, if you bow down and worship me, I will give you rule of this world because it's given to me. So Mashiach didn't deny Lucifer's rule over the world, but we did never understand how intense his rule is and how evasive his power is in his rule. And we're waking up to the word, saying the last day knowledge will be increased. So we're waking up to prophetically what's happening in the time. All right, but as the sun is going down, it started with Adam. So from Adam, you get 6,000 years. So as the sun, you get 2,000 to Abraham. So this is where the sun is with Abraham. Then you get 2 more thousand years to Christ. Here's where the sun is. We live in what, 2020? So 2020 from Christ, Well, let's go back 400 years. See, when you get, you can't see, I want you to see. When you get here, that's 400 years that you got till it's dark.
Going down.
It's dark. Dark. It's over. There is no more free world. It's dark. You in Satan's kingdom. You in a chip, demonic, electronic, robot, faggot world. Sorry. No, I'm just telling you, it's nothing to look forward to. But that's why he made us a nation that Gentiles can escape to YAH's nation and be saved. But it ain't the church they can escape to no longer.
Right.
You have to, and that's, remember we broke down Revelation 7 last week, how that the Spirit is going to be taken up and given to the 144,000 to seal them, because they're going to be the saviors. Saviors came up on Mount, what was that? And the kingdom was theirs.
Sion, right?
And the kingdom was theirs, right? As we're saying in Obadiah. So again, all these prophecies are going to be fulfilled, but we must understand time. 400 years ago, we had 400 years left when the first slave arrived in the shores of the second Egypt, the daughter of Babylon. We had 400 years left of what? Light. The 400 years are over. It ended this year. We just celebrated the Pesach. So we just had our new year. So again, now it's the judgment coming. And we're going to read this. So did everybody, I hope everybody understood that. When the sun was going down, meaning the light of this world, you understand 6,000 years of human rule is coming to an end, and now the devil is coming to rule. He gets a short time. He's been running it all the time, but now knowing that his gig is up, it's no more, the con is over. It's like he got to make an appearance. So he's coming to let you know who's going to rule this world. We're going 13, where we at?
All right, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years.
Now you saw that. Now my good brother, this is my brother right here. I want this one right here, because he stood there and told me, "Hey, elder, move! I don't want to hear that, elder." Read the next one, what you tried to tell me.
Verse 14.
Yes, sir.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
Okay. Did you not tell me that, Yadon? The brother tried to tell me. He said, while you getting up out of here, he got to judge America first. Didn't you say that?
He's got to judge the nation.
He told me that.
Right.
So again, this is how beautiful his word is, but the 400 years was a sign for me that I had to fulfill. And again, in divine measure, we praise Yah that, things were accomplished with that move that otherwise, we wouldn't be right now. So again, all things are for purposes. And again, that's what's happening now. Will you read that again? I want everybody to understand, from my understanding, the 400 years was up. It ended in 2019 in August. But the new year hadn't happened. Mm-hmm. And again, we just is celebrating the new year. So we're still in the year of the 400 year, sign, if you will. We're in the shadow of that. And then he said, after 400 years, what would happen, he said?
That nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
Oh, okay. Did everybody understand that? Mm-hmm. Could that be what we see happening now?
Sentence.
The U.S. accounts. I mean, the U.S. cases of coronavirus
surpassed everybody.
I remember I saw an illustration. When Usain Bolt, there was a season where he got an injury and he wasn't really in shape. Mm-hmm. So all the other runners took off before him.
Right.
But I saw him start chucking high knee and hitting his form, and he surpassed all those runners and finished way in front by this much. Right. The U.S. just ran and surpassed. I think everybody. They had to
Italy.
They had to catch their wickedness right.
Amen.
They've been slacking on the LGBT a little bit. It's been looking a little like they were gonna try to get righteous, but I think there was enough wickedness in the country to allow our coronavirus cases to exceed the whole world.
Look at the other nations. Look at Italy getting dealt with severe.
Look at Tarshish, Spain, getting dealt with. The UK, wicked system, getting dealt with. But look at Germany. Germany got hit, but Germany ain't dying like that. I wonder why. Why Germany not dying like that?
It could be hygienic consciousness or just understanding. You know, Germans came out of that World War. They don't play. I mean, it's survival. But anyway, let's keep moving. I just want to get through this, and I'm gonna bring my brother. He's biting at the bit over here in the corner. Come on, my brother. I had to bring. He had me bushwhacked. You know, I'm thinking we having a nice little, discussion. The brother visited my class. I go, but now, hey, I'm just reiterating things that might have been missed, like when the sun was going down, meaning that 6,000 years is over. The 400 years is over. It's like the Father about to pull back the curtain and do something. And we just read, and that in that nation whom they shall serve, will I judge. And the Father, the whole world is being judged right now. You can't do nothing. Right. You can't see that. You really blind.
And it's a sentence. We take that word judge like, oh, you're wicked. You did that. Stop judging me. No, there has to be a sentence.
That's all it is.
The money that you owed our people in reparations.
And you did not pay.
You lost that like in a week, 2 weeks that you would have paid us.
So it wouldn't
have
hurt.
And you still closed for business.
Right. So again, the Father, he going to get his.
And that's not even as we go through the class. That's just the beginning.
Okay, well, we getting ready. Let me just close out. The next one, he said, well, I judge. And let me just read this. Mm-hmm. Because, again, people still be blind to think that this is not the 400 years that was prophesied to Abraham. The other was 430 years. Right. If I can
and they weren't afflicted for 400 years.
Right.
We was like the number 2 in charge with Yosef.
So, again, we fit this 400 years. If you don't see it, you're blind, and you're going to continue to be blind to the things that are galloping upon earth, because there's 4 horses about to gallop in. And they messengers from the Most High, and they going to be heard. You understand? But anyway, he's judging his neck. This is where we at, prophetically. And we came here a year ago to try to show this and got no support. Still not going to get support. It's okay. But Yah's with us, and that's all we need. Praise Yah. And afterwards, it said, afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Afterward.
After this judgment, shall they come out with great substance. Mm-hmm. And again, we have nothing. I don't have nothing. So I need that great substance. Whatever it is better than what I got right now. So again, I know this is the time. We look for this great substance, and it could be name, it could be status within the world community. We don't even exist. We America's niggers. So, again, all that's going to change. The Father is requiring his people at the hands of the nations where he scattered them. So we're going to see if Yah lives or we live, and we got to speak for Yah and, con people into putting money in our whatever. Like Yah don't live, and he got to speak through men. But this word is here, and we're going to see. This is what we're going to see, right?
Amen.
Because I believe that Yah live. I don't looking for strength in men, or how good my tongue is, that I can get simple-minded people to understand things more complex. I believe he lived. He wrote this word for all of us, the great, the small. All of us need to tremble before his throne. We all can bleed. We all can die. So humbly, he's doing a work because he's requiring his people back. We don't have no argument in this. We are his people. I've stood 40 years publishing that we are the true Jews. We are his people. And now he's knocking on the door to vindicate the testimonies that we bearing witness to.
Hallelujah.
Okay, and you can read the next one, and I'm out, and just keep reading.
And afterward shall they come out with great substance.
Hallelujah. Y'all heard that, so nobody get faint-hearted here. Just understand it's a process that he, the Father, if he wrote it, he's going to fulfill it. Keep
Verse
reading.
15. And you shall go to your fathers in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age.
Keep reading.
But in the 4th generation they shall come here again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full.
The Amorites, you know what iniquity is, sin. The Amorites mean the mountain dwellers. Mm-hmm. And we know that Edom, he dwelt in the clefts of the rocks, and he dealt with aliens in outer space. So he's a very demonic reality. But anyway, when it's full, then what happens? 17. Let's see what the fulfillment of this.
And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark.
Okay, now here is where I wanted to look. This is for those who are looking a little bit deeper. We saw that when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And then it was prophesied by the Father who cannot lie that you're going to be there 400 years and afterwards. And we're after the 400 years now. And we can't go nowhere. America is being judged or broken down to shift into her new world order or whatever. But right now, it looks like we know where we are in time. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I wanted to go to that place. And it said, and it came to pass when the sun went down, and it was dark, meaning the 400 years is over, and the people that got out. But when the sun went down, it's over. When this guy appears to set up his mark or to enforce the new world order. Now, this is what you want to pay attention to. Read.
And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces.
Okay, so now the sun went down after the 400 years. And a new world order, the guy gonna ride in. I hope y'all are understanding this with a new world order. It says in Daniel that he had a bow in his hand. Or in, what is that, Revelation? But he rides in and he creates a new world order. This is about to happen within a few months. So you're bearing witness of, unless the Father extends the grace period, and again, he knows what he's doing. But I'm just saying,
the groundwork's already being set.
You can understand, and I'm just trying to let people or warn people that he can't come fix something that ain't broken. So I don't know what you think is going to get fixed right away, because the whole reality is what? He's coming in to fix and set up something that they've been preparing from the beginning, and for 6,000 years they've been waiting on this. So we have to understand what the Father's saying. But it said that a smoking furnace and a burning lamp passed between those pieces. The pieces is a 7-year contract that he comes in and confirms. Is that not right?
Right.
That's Revelation and Daniel 9. He confirms the covenant with many for 7 years.
Right.
So again, we're getting into what the Bible is saying. People don't even want to know this. They don't even care. They don't care. Right or wrong, let's be honest. It's all about what they into. But here we're being warned. God is setting this up line by line, prophets by prophet. This is a message he wants us to know that are paying attention. And we're trying to get the word out to our people, what they can look forward to. That is from the Creator, not from us. We don't have the power to do anything. No. But this word should be taken serious. And what he's saying is the smoking furnace. Remember the Hebrews that were thrown in what?
A furnace.
That furnace represents the time of trouble that we're about to go through. That people are, So, but no, you're going through furnace. You're going through hell.
Right.
You understand? And again, it's nothing to ho hum. When the 3 Hebrew children, and most people are aware of this, were thrown in the furnace, Mashiach showed up, an angelic presence to save them. They weren't even, the heat this blew Nebuchadnezzar's mind. He fell down and worshipped him. It blew his mind. So again, that's the only thing gonna save our targets this time, because we're playing games. We're fiddling it. And again, it's not to say that we don't have good brothers, good soldiers, good kings, good representatives for our nation, our community. But if we don't understand this word, what are you doing? You're doing things, but it's not in tow or in step with prophetically what he's doing. Things have to connect. You know what I mean? So again, I thank you for the time. And what we're just showing is that furnace and the light that came after the furnace is the rapture, the resurrection of the dead, the first rate, call it what you will. But it's within that 7-year period. Remember when I shared with you that the book of Revelations is 22 pages and that the last trump is on what?
11.
The 11th.
Revelation 11.
Revelation's right in the middle of the book. Because the Father wants you to know. He just said right there, Right in the middle of the 3.5 pieces, what happened? A furnace and a burning lamp. The lamp is Christ returning for his.
In the middle of the 3.5.
But that 3.5 years, that's what's us going through hell. Like your woman about to go through the having a baby. We're about to be born. If I had time, I'd go into Revelation 12, showing how the woman was bringing forth birth of a nation.
I was just about to say,
a nation.
Whenever y'all do your Revelation series, make sure you hit me up.
Yes. Praise, brother. And it's going to be soon come because we trying to drop this stuff. The Father's opened a little window for us to get this message out. And again, I just wanted to bring my brother Yonatan up, the good brother that started with brother Yadan in this Israelite gathering, which is now a source of light, a source of a connection to our people that are wondering what's it all about. We're bringing you clear word. We're connecting the word. So again, we were here a year ago connecting and letting you know this 400 years was significant. And we were rebuked for that. And again, we're trying to let you know now you might be paying more attention because there's nothing to do but look at television because you've been shut down. But we're trying to not let you know that pay attention to the Father's word. This is the time you need to put your head in the book, look at some videos, try to break it down. I can tell you this, and we're going to come soon, that the word is line upon line. It fit. Precept upon precept, it fit. This book is the truth. And when you look at NASA and the world and the whole system, it's a damn lie. It's all a lie. From Santa Claus to his Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, it's all a lie. The truth is this word. Praise Yah. Hallelujah. So again, that's our strength and our foundation that we prefacing this scripture. I'm not following, he throw me a scripture, I'm throwing him. We go in, we look at it, and if it fit, all right, well, that's a piece of the puzzle there. Thank you. And again, we got a lot of pieces, praise y'all. So we're going to be bringing our people these pieces. But the last word is in your patience possessing your soul. Meaning, there's nothing to be worried about. We suffered 400 years of lynching. Ku Klux Klan can't, trembling before the Gentile, But at this point, he said, rise and shine, for thy time, thy light has come. So look up, for your redemption draws nigh. With that, I'm bringing on my brother. Hallelujah. Get up here, brother! Hallelujah. Give thanks, praise Yah. Appreciate you, King.
Hallelujah. I want to get this greeting on camera.
Yes, sir.
I'm pretentious.
My brother, hallelujah. It's good to see y'all together. Good to see you, King.
All right. Yes, sir.
It's been about a year now,
yes,
man.
Yes, sir. It's been almost a year. A little bit over a year.
We don't got to let go yet, man.
Yes, sir. It's like the dream team coming back together. Woo! Praise y'all.
You know this is what I love to do, man. You know I love getting in this word and I like what y'all did with the places I've been gone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I like what y'all did with the places I've been gone. Hallelujah. First and foremost, you got to give honor to, the kings of the house. So, first and foremost, Yadan, I praise y'all for you, man. Staying strong on the battlefield. You've been through a whole lot, bro. Yes, sir. I ain't even going to talk because some people know I'm with the waterworks, but I ain't even going. I'm gonna let the lens stay clear today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Elder Ben Mel, it's my style to always give honor to where it's due and to show honor unto dignitaries and authorities. You've been a soldier on the battlefield for so long, pushing your message. Great artwork. The Israelite community loves your artwork. And I think it's about time we continue to push that and put it before them, because this is definitely prophetic artwork. And I pray you continue to get the honor and the glory that you deserve for all the works you've been putting in over the years.
And let us know, let the community know about your blessing next week. We got that's real important. Life coming through in this time of this season that's trying us, a trial.
Indeed. In this tribulation season, my wife is also in tribulation. She's with child. We're in our 39th week of pregnancy.
That must be some kind of a sign in this season of the Passover that the King is coming.
Listen, what's 1 week left?
You got a name for him?
Yes. His name will be Aiden. as in Eden. And the revelation I want to give concerning that is that Eden was the place. If you look in Eden, if you look at the, we do the Strongs, we know what it's like. So in the Strongs it says pleasure, luxury, things of that nature, and we know in the beginning Yah wanted to give unto us everything he had.
Right.
It's Yah's desire to make sure that we're well taken care of. And he put us in that Garden of Eden. And you know the revelation between Eden, it was a set apart place. It was a fenced place.
Right.
Eastward in Eden. And he put his man and his woman there. Amen. And what I want to make my son know is that is Yah's intention for man to remain in that pleasure and that luxury. But you cannot do so if you don't obey the rules of Eden.
Right.
If you don't obey the law that requires you to live in that place of blessing and continuous perpetual luxury. When he took the children of Israel out of Egypt, he said unto them, you're about to inherit houses and vineyards, houses you didn't build, gardens you didn't plant. But here's the twist. What happens when people receive great luxury that they didn't work for?
They don't value it.
They don't value it. They don't value it. We see it all the time. You know, you dealing with a girl, you know, you giving her all the things, you giving her the ring, you giving her the this, to that, and then some other dude shows up and she just walks off with him. Or he has less. It's just that spirit of lust might be in her. Some dude off the street could just be like, hey, shorty, you look good. You got a big butt. All that stuff that played out game that only works on worldly women. It don't necessarily work on the daughters of Yah because they're taught to be chaste. You know, they're taught to possess their souls in chastity. But you pick up the wrong one and you try to bless the wrong one with everything and they ruin it all.
Right.
And we've seen how Yah complained about that. He said, you took my wool, you took my flax, you took everything I gave to you to go bless the rest of the nations. What more? Will you lie with the nations too, you whorish land, Israel?
Right. And for nothing in return. We didn't get
with
anything
nothing
in return.
He said, you're not like usual whores. Usually whores get payment for what they do. You the one giving payment to the man. What are you doing? He said, guess what? I'm going to cause your skirt to be discovered in the whole of the nations. And that's where we are right now. Amen. Embarrassed in the midst of all these Gentiles. Embarrassed, downtrodden, lost, diseased. Everything from top to bottom that we've read. All those curses, we've watched it. Every day I get up and I leave the house, I be like driving to work like, damn, I'm really in the land of my enemies. I'm really in the land of my enemies.
We got to come on out of here. It's time, bro.
It's time. It's time. And I'm thankful.
Take Aiden out, you know what I mean?
You know, and I'm thankful that you've stayed passionate and you stayed faithful to that message, to get it out, to preach it unto the nations. You know, it might not look the way everyone thinks it's supposed to look, but you've definitely shown solidarity in being on top in the midst of all the different persecutions.
We don't be that people, bro.
Praise Yah.
We're not ready for it. We so busy accustomed to playing church and congregational games that we're not seeing that this world system is shifting. Father, he does things major.
Indeed.
So that's why we respect what's written, because we feel that his hand is in it. It's
Can't
nothing
change
about us. We just understand. And that's what we'll say. I mean, the thing is, with all I get understanding.
Indeed.
You know, all our brothers are really righteous, and we appreciate it because we believe that the Father raised them up for this
season. Right.
We got many different gifted people. But if we not understanding, you know, the sign of the covenant for now, this 400 years and what he's about doing, establishing us as his, we belong to him.
Indeed.
We don't belong to ourselves or America, whatever, and he want us back.
We
happy in America. You know you can do your thing here.
Amen.
But he wants us to keep his law and be the delight of our heart. So
Indeed.
His will gonna be done, bro. So we just trying to publish what we understand,
right,
and have us get in tune. You don't have to get in tune, but I believe when you really look at it, it's no alternative. You're not gonna fight against Yah.
Right.
You're not gonna do it.
And if we get into the law, we know how the law speaks about if a woman is married unto a man and goes and takes on another husband, even if that new husband dies, she's still not allowed to return to that first husband.
The land is polluted.
But what did Yah say concerning Israel?
He said, where's your bill of divorcement? You know, though I put you away, but
Y'all brothers know
My
this
hand is
word.
stretched out still.
Come like,
Amen. He
y'all-
set the
We
example.
got to. This is what we following, brother. It's like,
Y'all been studying?
no. I know one thing. I'm not studying no man, dead man,
Right.
levitating man, charismatic man, computer man. Meaning, we have to follow the Creator's word.
King.
That's it. And you are the head of your house. And
Indeed,
that's your
indeed.
responsibility to know that word so she can be confident she's not following a man. She's following the YAH.
The
YAH
Spirit.
is determining the direction of you and your house.
Indeed.
So again, and this is critically important because it is perceived that, and this from the beginning, it's like, well, I got to listen to this man because the way that the scripture is set up, it was never told Eve, don't eat of this tree.
Right.
Y'all didn't tell her that.
Nah, you
it
need
was
to.
told to Adam. Adam, the way it's set up, had to communicate because she knew it.
Right.
But she didn't know it like getting it directly from the horse's mouth. So he coming to her getting it secondhand, and then he was able to penetrate.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole point is that we really have to, our sisters have to understand that they're not following a man or us or flesh. That we're a part of a covenant that the Father entreated us into. We saved by we following him. We
Right.
not leading nothing. We not a woman. No, it's like, we're following, and we can show you what we following, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can understand the scriptures we're prefacing today. And so you can understand if we try and get out of here, we try and escape, we try and come together, it's right there in the Bible. I can understand that. So you're supportive as opposed to
My way
you don't
or-
see it
right.
in the word. Somebody wants you to do something, because again, we all human. Nobody want to be following a human. We want to follow the Creator.
Indeed.
That's the spirit. That if you know the word, our people can be secure in the fact we found the scripture. That don't mean everybody's perfect. Don't mean everybody's perfect. People gonna do things their way. But we're not endorsing that. We're not about that. We're about righteousness and covenant and sharing and what we can do. Y'all not gonna judge everybody, you know what I mean?
Amen.
So we
Amen.
have to walk this path. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yes, sir.
And as far as that idea of a woman lying with another man and having another husband, before I even continue that precept and that concept, I want to pause and give honor unto my current elders, Elder Thomas Murray and his wife Gina Murray, who've put together the Biblical Family Structure series. That's really going to help a lot of the young men and women of Israel to come together, because we know that there's a big divide between the man and woman in this country.
Thank you.
Not necessarily for the Gentile, because when you're rich, you can afford to make mistakes.
Right.
But when you don't own the land that you live on, you really can't afford to make those mistakes.
Right. Right.
It's one thing to be physically broke, but don't be spiritually broke as well.
Right. Right.
So it is imperative that we begin doing our best to repair and restore and nourish our male-female relationships. I also want to give honor onto my current elder, underneath Elder Thomas Murray, Elder Asa Akir, master farmer out here in Georgia. He has the Atlanta Harvest location that's been providing foods, naturally grown, organic, non-GMO food for years.
Right.
And I think it's great to have as a great tool, and I encourage everyone of the Israelite and Hebrew faith to inquire and partake and support, because
Right.
whatever we have, we'll be able to return into the community with that surplus. So so now let me go back into what I was saying about the woman lying with another man. I remember the story with King David, where Saul had promised him his daughter Michal, but they ended up giving her
To
another man. And then David is running and he's fleeing and he's going through all this stuff, and Saul is persecuting him. And after Saul's death, he finally goes and retrieves back Michal. Michal is currently married to someone else.
Right.
You remember that story?
Right.
And he went and retrieved Michal. And her current husband, they told him go back. They said he followed her crying, weeping. He was like, they were like, go back to your house. I remember reading that. I'm like, how can you do that? I really didn't understand what that was about. There's a lot going on in the story of Daweed.
Well, you know what?
Go ahead.
Based on what you just said, I wonder why the husband didn't come out there brandishing his sword.
He
like,
can't. He gonna get killed.
Oh, that's what. Oh, I forgot. It's David.
This King David
that's
here.
Why he came crying because it so happened it's the wrong person. Man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
David had so many men ready to die at the drop of a hat for him.
Praise.
They had one soldier, Ben-Yah. Ben-Yah is the one they sent. Whenever somebody came out their mouth sideways, Ben-Yah fell on him with the sword. It was done. That conversation is over.
That was
Right.
his hit man, yeah.
Listen,
He
man.
took Joab's place, right? Joab?
Not they existed side by side.
Okay.
They existed side by side. I really don't know if did Joab die?
Yeah, Joab was
Toward the
taken
end?
out when he went for Absalom's kingdom.
So I'll go ahead and refresh my
I
memory.
mean, man, it's just so deep when you read it because basically you're just looking at real government and how people like Joab. He went for the.
Joab wasn't.
It was almost like The Godfather. The Godfather. The book was written based on that transition from David to Solomon. A lot of people don't know that. When you look at this, remember The Godfather. His father told him, "Hey, don't forget." Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he said, "I got it, Dad." Because he had to take certain people was going to take him out.
Right.
And you have to understand, in that world of, that's the real world of dynastic power.
And that's what's coming back. And that's what we're
Real
being
stuff.
prepared for.
Indeed.
But we as a people don't want that. We fighting
We
to
don't want
be
that. We don't
Egyptian.
We don't want
We
that.
fighting to hold on to that. Matter of fact, we're gonna go there. We'll let you finish what you were gonna say, but we're gonna go to Amos chapter 9.
Praise God.
Let's get into the lesson, man.
Good stuff. Let's
I ain't gonna ramble. Let's
Yeah.
get into this lesson, man.
He's talking about
Amos, what chapter?
Amos chapter 9. And with the elder going over in the title of today's Bible study is Reverse Captivity. It's reversing this captivity. That's the time that we're in right now. It's a reversal of the captivity. And with the 400-year prophecy, the 400 years, after that 400 years, that nation whom you served will I judge. And remember, it was talking about earlier, and I'm glad you brought that up, about as the sun was going down. But when the sun goes down, right, is it pitch black right away?
No.
So there's a period of time where you still have light even though the sun has gone down. That's the period of time we're in right now. The sun has gone down, but it's not. That's why when you go to the next verse, it says, and when it went down and it was dark, that's letting you know now you're into the next.
And what did Yashra'al say about the dark? For when it is night,
stumble.
when it is night, no man can work. So we better take cover.
That's what now you prefacing my thing. It's nothing to chill about.
Is it 12 hours
It's
a
about
day?
to be dark, broski. Especially when you understand when the first slave came here, we had 400 years till it got dark. I really want people to burn that in their mind that this is what the Creator is doing.
Right.
Because when it get dark, He's giving Satan his 7 years, then Christ return, and that's it.
Right.
So
again,
you're at the end. It's no more time left.
We have a little bit of freedom. You see how they're cutting our freedom off. But we still, we still business as usual. We can still go even though we're cut off. Now is the time for you to do what you need to do while there's, like I said, are there not 12 hours in the day? You better do it while the light is out because the dark is coming. But see, that darkness doesn't have to be death for us, just like in Egypt. When that darkness came, we was in the house chilling. We covered up under the blood. Now, I don't mean it wasn't scary when you hear people screaming outside and yelling and dying, but we were prepared. A word witness came and spoke to us and said, nah, you gonna be all right. Chill. And that's where we are right now.
That's where earlier we was discussing, our posture toward these extraordinary circumstances. And that's all I was trying to
we the believers.
Was we know it could get worse or whatever, but that's not within our power. Our power is to hold on to the covenant where we at and get out to the people to be patient with the Father. We showing them line upon line what He's doing. So we can't rush. We can't stall that. We have it's going to play itself out. So
Amen.
Be prepared or look up for your redemption draweth nigh. you have to be ready to make an exodus.
Right. Right. Amen.
Either from the system or physically from this location.
Right.
It's an
You
either
got to
or.
come out the system first.
Yeah.
You gotta come out of that, and that's what's
That mindset.
that's why people
Trust.
of our people are dying in this, because they're not letting
Trust.
go of the
Yes.
Babylonian system. No different than in Egypt when we left. The elders did not want to let go of the system, so they had to die with it. When he's saying, no, that system is dying, you have to let that go. Now, you can pick up and leave, and you can go somewhere else, but if you carry that system with you, you finna just get judged right there.
Come out of her, my people.
But he's forcing us to get this together right now. He's cutting us off where you can't go here, you can't go there, you can't do this, you can't work, you can't do that. So now you have no choice but to deal with what? Family.
Or what? Congregation of brotherly love.
Right.
See, the Philadelphia, this is the congregation that we represent.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to have, as you mentioned, your loved ones in the community you're a part of. It's real love, bro. It's not a game. Their life depends upon you and others understanding the covenant and the house that the Father is redeeming out of this captivity that we've all marched and been suffered through.
King.
Amen.
King. Amos chapter 9, and we'll begin at verse 11, correct?
Yes, sir.
In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old.
So we just sat there and we talked about how great, our patriarch David was. And he was great not because he was some great stature, he was the strongest, fastest. He had faith. He believed when it was time to do work, he stepped up. He understood the reasonable sacrifice to offer yourself as a living sacrifice.
Amen.
So this is what is coming back. This is what he requires of us. The house of David to return back to its prominence. And its prominence is this word, because the star of David is who? Yahshua. So the word is coming back. So the house of David is stepping up with this word in this time to let people know what's happening in this season, because our people are afraid. They're running. They're seeing death. They're looking at the government, and we can't expect the people that killed us, that imprisoned us, to help us and tell us what we need to do.
Good luck.
But our word is telling us exactly what's coming and what we need to do. So this is the house of David being raised up. The word is being the kingdom. It's being told to the four corners of the earth what's happening. Who is telling? What good is it if you go to jail, you sitting in jail, you don't know why you in jail. You just sitting here. What kind of reform is that? What kind of judgment is that?
It's none.
The judgment has to be told. The nations have to be told according to the word, like the prophets did. The word witnesses need to let the nations know you are being judged. And while you're being judged in that, his house, the house of David, is being raised up according to the prophecy.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Verse 12. That they may possess the remnant of Edom. Oh yeah, that's that ancient enemy
Now
right
he's
there.
telling you why. And not only that, keep reading.
Right.
Edom.
That they may possess the remnant of Edom.
Go back. Okay. My bad. Go ahead.
Go ahead, continue. And of all the heathen which are called by my name.
Isn't that's a beautiful prophecy there.
Right.
That he can say basically Jewish people, Edom, and all the heathens, meaning
Goyim,
Gentiles
in the
that
nation.
believe in Christ or is really looking for his kingdom or his righteousness, his Melchizedek or his priestly kingdom. You understand? In that context, that he could save Edom. That's who is Edom. Edom is what we
The
call
grand
so-called
oppressor.
Jew now, and all Gentiles that's called
And
by his name.
As we know through Jasher, Edom and the Roman Empire became one.
Right.
A long time ago.
They merged. Right.
They merged around the time Herod was in power and all that. Them folks was intermingled
But
heavily.
even to this day, Edom is occupying our land.
Indeed.
Amen.
The tents of Shem. They're in the tents of Shem now. They're in our land.
Came.
And the Rothschilds, the Edomites, they have created an illusion or a false He said then they say they are Jews but are not.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the false, and we know that they're Edom, they're Rome, they're the system, however you want to break it down.
Right.
But the point is, this is a deep prophecy because he's saying he's going to raise up the house of David.
Right.
That means David was the king of Israel. Israel is the kingdom that Mashiach is coming to establish in the earth. So from my mind, it's saying, he decided to set his kingdom up by raising up anointed vessels that have his ruach or spirit.
Right.
From David, not even from Judah, but from David. There's 12,000 from Judah. How many is going to be Davidic?
Right.
Meaning leading the charge or helping establish the government or the kingdom in the earth. This is the job that we're called to do if you really, know your salt as far as time and prophecy.
Absolutely,
what I'm saying?
absolutely, and we are a light unto the Gentiles. So how are we going to possess these people and be a light unto them when they're they're in fear, they're running, they're dying left and right, and we just to ourselves not saying nothing, not explaining, not telling people what's going on, not showing them where their Savior is, which is not us, it's the Mashiach, this word. There has to be a house that's going to stand up amongst the nation, which is going to be the light. And now that light is going to be collective amongst us as a nation, but he's telling you, I'm going to raise up this specific house for this season.
Mm-hmm. Now we look at all the brothers that claim to be the heritage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or the covenant house of Yisrael and these, or Yashra'al in these end times.
Mm-hmm.
And you can name all your people, and you can name 100 other people over there. There's alphabet groups, there's old covenant groups, there's New York groups, there's groups in Ghana, there's right there, there's Igbo, there's all kinds.
Mm-hmm.
We are a people that are scattered. Now, the point is, the Father said his kingdom is about to be established. He's going to bring all, because that's what I read. When he said he's going to raise up the house of David, David has been dead. His heritage has been erased. Nobody talking about the house. So now you look around and you see the furniture, you see us coming together in a legacy and a testimony that is still premature. We haven't finished, but it's going to be glorious. I know it's going to be glorious. I'm telling you, the Father, he don't lie. That's all I can tell you. And again, it's for us that are of that noble branch or that seed to help establish a kingdom that of righteousness where we can eat right, where we can, understand laws of marriage and of honor and of brotherly love and of sisterly love and the things we obviously don't understand today.
Right.
So it's good.
Amen. Get rid of that confusion. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 12, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, says Yahweh that does this. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, that the treader of grapes, him that sows seed, and the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people, Yashra'al, Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them.
Hallelujah.
And they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them.
All right, so that we are going to be returned back to when it says bring again the captivity, that's to reverse the captivity. He's going to reverse that. He's going to bring us back to our land, and we are going to be blessed by the land.
Now he can't lie, right?
Now, and again,
He don't lie.
he don't lie. And you go back to that verse about possessing Edom and the remnant of the heathen. These people are puffed up. They're not going to just, we just going to come to you. No, Yah's beating them into submission. He is judging them. And you judge a idolatrous nation by killing their idols. There's no more sports. There's no more music. There's no more movies. There's no more banking. All that. He has brought them to their knees. Now, he's still...
AMC is going out of... I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah. AMC is about to go out of business.
AMC. The only theater I ever go to. AMC. So he's dealing with their idols.
The banking system is about to go. You're about to enter a new world order.
Amen.
I'm telling you, it's serious. You're going to have one world computer chip communism, meaning that you online or they hunting your ass. Because
Right.
the point is, you cannot. We were in a free system.
Mm-hmm.
What held us in freedom was the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea of the banking system is to deploy the dollar so they can have a one world
Right.
system that they have total control of. So the banking or the structure of the economic reality that we've lived through was the structure by which they brought us or the world to its knees. Now they can accomplish to conquer. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But they couldn't do it in a free market economy. They
Right.
couldn't. We had freedoms. But the church period is ending, meaning that he spit it out his mouth. So now you're in a one world. When you look at Revelation 13, this is what you look forward to. A talking computer. If you don't do what the talking computer said, off with your head.
It's already
I'm telling
doing
you,
that.
man, bro, this,
Woo!
Right.
this is what's coming. It's not a game.
Right.
So we have an opportunity now to come together, be an Aiden can go and inherit everything you just read about.
Hallelujah.
The plower will overtake because it's just such blessings.
Right.
But if you're not on it, it could be, it's another.
You weren't on it. You got to be in season. You got to be ready for the season that you're in. Now, when we were in a different season, we could sit up, we can talk about all the laws and go over all that and teach like we're going to do when we get back in the land.
Okay.
But right now, we're in a season where we are being thrusted into a leadership position as a nation, and we have to be leaders, not only to us, like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. The other nations that Yah is going to choose out of those nations have to have a choice to say, I don't want that chip. I don't want that vaccine. I don't want to die. I want to go back to my land. I don't want to get caught in the judgment of this country as it gets
I want to
destroyed.
be with the people of Yah.
And only
So I
fear,
can protect
fear, and light. And Yah putting his light on his chosen people who are walking in faith. Not the people
Not
that are
fear.
out here, that are doing this and doing that. But when they start fearing for their life and they looking over here, just like when they said, man, why Goshen got light? Now he has put his light on his people. Now they have a choice.
Don't the word say the wicked flee where none chases? Meaning they scare their own shadow. Meaning because they know they wrong.
They know they wrong.
And when you right, we suffer, we struggling, we don't have nothing, but we not fearing, the judgments that, is coming on the wicked. We know we doing the best we can. And it's not to say we righteous, but our faith is in the Most High.
He is our Yahshua is our righteousness.
It's
Hallelujah.
our time to be blessed. Yes.
Hallelujah.
Finish it off.
Verse 15, and I will plant them upon their land. Let me say that again.
That sounds good. Right?
What? Man, I feel like I just had a big loaf of unleavened bread.
Yeah,
Hallelujah.
hallelujah.
And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be polluted. They shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, says Yahweh your Elohim.
So Yah is going to give us our land. He's going to place us there. He's going to put us there. He's going to bless us there. But just like he did the last time. But we had to do the footwork. We had to physically walk. We got to do what we got to do. And as we had in other prophetic classes, it's not one group. Like we all just going to leave all at once at one time. No, there's multiple groups. But the tents of David are going to be raised up first. Those are the ones that are going to establish. And it has to be word-based. It can't be money based. It can't be, numbers based. It has to be word based because that's where we're moving. We're moving out of the church period where you can do what you want to do and basically you're covered by spirit. No, it's going back to a law based order, being prepared for the king to return. All right, so let's move on. Let's go to Lucas chapter 21 because again, we dealing with now where we at.
Hallelujah.
The rest of the nations are supposed to be looking to us for secure. But we looking to the nations to secure us. No, we not in that time.
I feel like someone that's been out the ring for a while, but you do the first few punches, you're like, ooh, I still got it. Ooh, you know what I'm saying? Feel feel like Bruce Leroy a little bit, like, oh snap.
Yeah, you know it.
Oh.
The spirit.
Hallelujah.
Spirit, we doing what we supposed to do. You look around, you look at the Hebrew leaders. Look at your Hebrew leaders. How are they addressing you in this time? We have, like Brother Asa, he's preparing. He's making sure, like, we have to depend on them because they're already cutting off seeds.
Yeah.
You can't even buy seeds. But so I go buy a tomato and go plant that. Man, you planting some GMO thing. But we can go to our brothers and we can buy stuff. They can say, oh no, you gotta have this chip. Nah, we can trade. Look, I'm gonna work. I'm gonna work for my food, or I'm gonna provide security, or I'm gonna build a house. We have that. So what are we doing? What is your assembly doing?
Or not to cut you off, or brother, I see you have a son. I have a daughter that is of age. I give you my daughter in marriage.
Just talking about that earlier. We literally earlier today about that's how we have to return to that type of way.
Have to.
And you want to give a son that has no skill, no trade, no understanding. We a nation of priests. He's not even a priest. We don't want to do that. So we have to hold our own leadership accountable. What are you doing in this time? This is not an ordinary season where we just gonna sit and figure this out. This is prophetic time moving, and this is unprecedented. I've never even read in history about this. We haven't learned about this in school. We've never seen. This is uncharted territory.
Facts.
But what we know for a fact is our nation is going to come together and do what it needs to do. And we don't have to feel like I got to figure everything out. All we got to do is do what you do.
Indeed.
And we're going to come together.
Indeed.
So Lucas chapter 21. And we're going to start this at verse 1.
And he looked up and saw the rich men casting their gifts into the treasury. And he saw also a certain poor widow casting in there 2 mites, 2 little pence. And he said, of a truth, I say unto you that this poor widow has cast in more than they all. For all these have of their abundance cast into the offerings of Elohim, but she of her penury has cast in all the living that she had. And as some spake of the temple, how it was adorned with goodly stones and gifts, he said, as for these things which you behold, the days will come in which there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
All right, so there's no different than it is now. You stand around looking about how beautiful this building is, how beautiful the artwork is, how beautiful the stuff is around us. And Yashra'al like, look, man, all this is getting knocked down. He's letting you know none of this is going to stand because none of this matters until this kingdom comes back. The stone kingdom comes back. So we over here looking and trying to build all these permanent things. No, this is temporary. He didn't even want the temple over there standing. So he definitely don't want it standing over here. He's letting you know, no, be prepared for the next move of what's coming.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. And they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? And he said, take heed that you be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and the time draws near. Go you not therefore after them. But when you shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass. But the end is not by and by.
All right. So he's letting you know, do not allow the spirit of fear to rule your ministerial walk. So when these rumors of wars and these are coming, first of all, that shouldn't bother you because he's already told you all these things that have to happen. So this is your test. How are the nation to look at us in these troubling times for some kind of leadership and guidance towards YAH? If when these things happen, we terrified or we can't be found, we have nothing to say. We not keeping Shabbat. We not keeping holy days because these things are something to come to pass. When we got the whole script. If I put you in a movie, Yonatan, and you got the whole script and you know at the end you the superhero and you fly off with the woman. How you going to be terrified in the middle of the script because it looked like you losing? You got the whole script.
Indeed.
Go ahead.
Indeed. I indeed lost my spot.
Verse 10.
Verse 10. And then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom.
All right, so that's where we are approaching now. People are going to have to take their side. We're being forced to make decisions. The government says, you do this and you're going to be safe. Or the word says, peace be still. Hold on. Man's law doesn't supersede your law. So he's making us make decisions little by little. And we haven't been forced to make that decision yet because we still getting a little bit of money, a little bit of freedom, a little bit of light. But when we start to get hungry, when things start to completely shut down, you're going to have to pick a nation.
Indeed.
A nation of, and then you're talking about a nation of Yashra'al. We talking about nation of believers and nation of the one world order. Nation of non-believers. Just like the two trees, everything goes right back simple. The tree of life or the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You're going to have to pick one. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences and pestilences and pestilences
Everywhere.
and COVID-19 pestilences and SARS and flus and MARS and MERS.
Everything you can think of.
And fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven.
So you're going to see everything, all these things that is supposed to be for believers. Hallelujah. Not the fact that people are hurting or just destruction, but Yah's word does not lie. He's giving, it's just like looking at the clock when you getting ready to get off and you're like, man, it's 3 more hours, but look, it's moving. That's what that's supposed to be for. But we are getting caught up in this because we feel like, we want not Yah's will to be done. Whatever Yah's will to be done, it's going to be done. So as long as you accept that, these are hallelujah moments for you because it just shows you're getting closer and closer to the clock. And this is how a Gentile is going to believe you. When he sees all these things happening, you're like, I told you it was going to happen. And now it's happening. And I'm standing and I'm not shaking and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. And Yah is approving me. Yah's protecting me. Yah's taking care of us. Now people say, oh, okay. But when you telling people what you should do, but then you over here hiding, you're not doing, why they going to believe you? But this is prophetic that they are going to come because Yah's going to humble them, not us.
Indeed.
We're not going to go up there with a sign telling them Black Lives Matter and that's what's going to humble them. But when we tell them you are being judged, you did, okay, well, I didn't do slavery, but you benefited from it. So in other words, if you want to survive this, you're going to have to help the people that were enslaved by this get back to their former glory because that's what the word says.
Verse 12. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake.
So these things happen. They said before all these things, they're going to do all. This is what happened to our, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and even some of us. They laid hands on us when we went to the FBI and grabbed us up and took. Now we got an FBI surveillance van over here in our neighborhood now. Wow. This is what they do. But guess what? They don't have any power. They have no power against us. Why? Because this is Yah's prophecy. If they had any power, he wouldn't be here.
Okay.
They'd have wiped it. They'd have found a way to clone our women without us, and we be gone. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And it shall turn to you for a testimony.
A testimony. This is our time to what is your testimony, Yashra'al? What are you saying? Oh, my testimony is I'm gonna hide to save my own life. I'm gonna just sit it out and wait. Or your testimony, this is Yah's word, and we are here in this season, and we are gonna testify His word. We're gonna be witnesses of His word, because He said all this first before it happened.
Verse 14. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what you shall answer.
Because it ain't about you. When you're brought before these people and you have to make your testimony, you shouldn't have to think about what you have to say. The Holy Spirit should come, because when you got to think about what you say, you're going to do what the flesh tell it to do.
Indeed.
This is why Yahshua went and prayed before all this when he started getting the fear, because he didn't want his words to come out when he had to go before the man that could say, I can free you. You can't do anything.
Verse 14. Settle it therefore in your heart, not to meditate before what you shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist.
So that's obviously not your words. Go ahead.
And you shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinfolks and friends. And some of you shall they cause to be put to death.
And this is where we are at right now. School is canceled for the rest of the year. Like you said, America took off past China, this and everything. They already they're doing clinical trials of this vaccine in Africa. a place that has the lowest amount of numbers. And now they're talking about you have to take this vaccine in order to return to work, in order to return to school. And once they start doing this, okay, you got to have this vaccine. Martial law, they grabbing up people. Who in here don't have the vaccine? And nobody say nothing because I'm not going to snitch on my family. But then they find out, oh, but he don't have it. What you think, they just going to take him? They taking everybody. And then they already talking about, oh, we're not sure that if you had it already, you can't get it again. You're not, just because you recover from it don't mean you can't get it again. So in other words, they got free reign to do whatever they want to do. So this is when the betrayal comes in. No, that brother over there, he hasn't taken that vaccine because you don't want him coming in and taking your family because that brother lived right next to you. People are going to be concerned with only conserving their own life. Go ahead.
Wow. Verse 17. And you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
What did Yahshua do when it was tabernacles and they were threatening to kill him? And he said, no, go ahead. Go ahead. You go first. He told his disciples to go first. And then what did he do when these people were threatening to kill him on tabernacles? What did he do, Jonathan?
He showed up.
He showed up and did what? Did he sit in the back and be like,
started teaching and writing.
you're going to be hated for his name's sake. Because when they're trying to kill you, you are going to stand up as the character of Mashiach and speak this word and testify in season and out of season. And people are going to hate that. They're going to hate the fact that you are speaking up when they want to be quiet and under the radar. Because when you believe and you realize, listen, you can't change anything. Whatever's to be is to be. What happened to you early in your marriage was nothing you can do about that. But what's happening now, there's nothing you can do about that either. That's Yah's will. But once you lived that life and you went through that situation you went through, you understood this Yah's will. I can't change anything. Indeed. So what am I walking around with this fear for?
Indeed.
Because right here, go ahead.
Verse 18, but there shall not an hair of your head perish.
Not a hair of your head shall perish. Because if you are to be in this season as a word witness and you are to walk in the land, not a hair on your head will be touched. But if you are already given for a sacrifice, you can't change that. So if you're going to be given for a sacrifice and you're one of those servants that has to go and be a martyr, there's another spirit that's on you for that type of situation. And if you try to run away from that, guess what? You still going to be taken when it's time to be taken. So there's no excuse to live in that fear, because at the end of the day, you're not going to change that. You're not going to extend your life 1 year, a day or two or anything. And you definitely ain't going to extend it going against the will of Yah.
Verse 19, in your patience possess you your souls.
Look at that strong for patience.
This G5281.
All right, so that's your devoutness.
G5281 from Hupomeno.
Yeah, cheerful endurance.
Constancy, enduring, patience, patient continuance, waiting.
Your cheerful endurance. You are going through it and you're praise Yah, because this is all part of his plan. I don't fear any of that. What I do is fear Yah. He said there's no condemnation in Christ. See, we don't understand the power in that.
True.
There's no condemnation. If you're under the blood and you're doing your best to fulfill his word, he got you. And if you do die, he got you. So at the end of the day, that's where we need to run under his secure. And his word is telling us what's happening, what's going to happen next. So that's where we need to run.
True. Verse 20. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is near. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries there enter thereinto.
All right. So in other words, you need to be in that area. You can't flee to the mountains. If you nowhere near the mountains, you way over here. There's nothing you can flee. They already set the judgment. The judgment which we'll read the last chapter we're going to read. The judgment on this place has already been set.
Verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
All right, so think about that when some of us with siblings, and you know your daddy come in there, he start whooping behind. Okay, you might get a whooping too just because y'all related. But if you're not getting a whooping, walk in there if you want and try to stand in the middle of that, or try to, no, daddy, he didn't, he meant to take the you finna get it too. And that's what's happening here. Stand out the way. The best thing you can do is talk to him after the whooping. Hey, you see, this is when I told you you need to do this. But if you try to hop in the middle of that, you're going to catch it.
You're gonna catch it.
And that's what's happening. See, we say we not hopping in the middle of that. We not hopping in Gentiles getting dealt with. But we trying to hold on to their system. We trying to hold on to their ways. And the ways is out of order. When we being out of order, we holding on to their ways. If you're not being the head of your household, or you're not being submissive to your ish, you're holding on to the ways. And he says, all right, you want to hold on to those Babylonian ways? I'm going to destroy you. But those that were willing to let go and say, acknowledge, listen, I know I'm raised in Babylon. That's humility. He's going to bring us to the wilderness. He told us, and he's going to cleanse us. He said, I'm going to speak comfortably to you. I'm going to give you a shot, but you can't do it here. You can't be a recovering crack addict next to the crack dealer standing here and thinking that you're going to have an honest chance to repent when you would have been stopped smoking crack if you could do that. So he has to do that. And the only way he going to get us up out of here is he has to start cutting off all our lanes, cutting everything off while we don't have no choice. And then when this stuff starts to happen, remember, this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Now you had the word witnesses that told people what to do, and now they got the motivation. That's why I was telling Elder, I said, Elder, don't worry about it. That 400 years, yeah, everybody was where were you 400 years? Don't worry, they gonna get the motivation. It ain't about, nobody listened to anybody that spoke this word at the time that they spoke this word. Unless you was dying and you got healed with a miracle, then you listened for that 15 minutes and forgot when you left. That's why you can't be in this business as a priest of the Most High, or as a prophet of the Most High, or a servant of the Most High, and you want everybody to agree with you. It ain't gonna happen.
Verse 23, but woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
All right, so this is what the elder was talking about, the church period. You had everything being fulfilled in these holy days. You had the Pesach being fulfilled and the Mashiach being the perfect offering, right? Then you had the unleavened bread being fulfilled by him being a sinless man resting on the Sabbathon in the ground. Then when he went before the Father, see a lot, and I remember you and I were talking about this, about first fruits. A lot of people think first fruits is that resurrection when he came up. And because he said, oh, don't touch me, I haven't been to the Father. So they said, you see that must be first fruits. But I think it was you that brought it to me in Yohanan chapter 20 when he said, oh, and 8 days later, he came back and said, oh, now you do the math and you count. And I remember we were talking about, you do the math and you count, that 8 days bring you right back to first fruits. That first day when you do the first fruits. And now he came back and said, oh, now you can touch me.
Yeah, look at my
touch
side.
me. Put your finger in there. Because I done been to the Father.
King.
So he fulfilled first fruits. Then he fulfilled Pesach. When he came back and said, no, don't worry. Listen, it behooves you that I go to the Father. Because when I go to the Father, now I can give you gifts. And then we seen that in Acts when the Holy Spirit came down. And now the Gentiles have their time. Because now they're receiving the Spirit. And it's been with them in that church period and all that time. But what did they do? They boasted against us with that spirit when they had that. They built these big churches. They took over. They said Peter was their first pope and this, that. They took over and they had free reign. But they messed up just like we did. They dropped the ball.
And then you have the Mormon church say black skin is a curse.
Right.
So,
making everybody ham that's black now. Right. So they boast, and this is what Saul was talking about. Said, don't boast against the natural branches. But see how merciful YAH is? He's saying, nah, it ain't completely your fault because my priests were defiled.
Indeed.
So guess what? How merciful he is. Israel had thousands of years to learn how to approach unto YAH. Well, I'm going to give the Gentiles 1,000 years with the Mashiach the priests of Zadok with the 144, and they have an opportunity to have a real example, walk in righteousness, repent, and get it together. If not, they can be one of those people that are like a baby that died 100 years old. But they had a chance. And that's what's coming next.
Verse 25. Lucas chapter 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth. Distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's heart failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken.
All right, men's heart failing for fear. Fear is a natural reaction of the body. We have to train. You understand? When we train, we have to train to overcome fear, because fear is not real. Danger is real, but fear is an emotion. We have a choice of how we want to deal with that fear. So your heart, if somebody, this is why I hate those little haunted houses. Not because I'm scary. I don't like surprises. I don't like somebody jumping out at me because I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
So this is what's causing men's hearts to fail, because they're not prepared. When these things come up, they spend so much time saying, oh, this ain't going to happen. Oh, no, everything's good. Oh, I'm afraid. Oh, I'm not afraid. Oh, no, this ain't the time. That when it does happen, the fear comes on them and they're afraid. But if you prepare yourself mentally and say, listen, he told us none of this is going to touch us. And I'm proclaiming this with his word, not my word. I'm proclaiming his word. Then when it does happen, I'm prepared for this. Because I knew this was happening. And how can you be prepared if this wasn't told to you? If this wasn't taught to you? If it wasn't precepted to you? Go ahead.
Verse 27. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory.
And that's why you don't have to, somebody have to tell you Mashiach is here. Because with a flat earth, when he comes from the east, I said like lightning shines from the east to the west, that can only happen on a flat earth. So when he comes, first of all, we know where he's coming. It ain't America. So if anybody tell you in America that's him, we know that's a lie. But when he comes, it's the light coming in the midst of the darkness. It's so dark in the earth, from volcanoes and eruptions and war and killing and darkness in the earth, from just having those evil spirits, just like in Egypt when that darkness came. All them evil spirits came out and they heard all those noises and everything. People would be so afraid, and all of a sudden, in the middle of that 7 years and 3.5 years, here comes that light that Elder was talking about. The Mashiach returning. And now it's seen everywhere.
Verse 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws nigh. And he spoke to them a parable. Behold, the fig tree and all the trees. When they now shoot forth, you see and know of your own selves that summer is now near at hand. So likewise you, when you see these things come to pass, know you that the kingdom of Yahweh is near at hand. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away.
All right, so this generation, in the age of the Gentiles, until that age, the people were there during that age. All the way into now, we still in that age. When that passes, that's when these things are going to be fulfilled. And that's what we're waiting on to pass. The sun has went down. You got a little bit of light. And we know we're not there because that total darkness hasn't come yet.
Verse 34, and take heed to yourself, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares.
So you can't, if you see these signs, we see the trees, we see the stuff is coming around, and you know you got a certain amount of time to grab that fruit before it's just too ripe and it falls or whatever. So you got to be paying attention. But if you caught up with the cares of this world, and that's what they're trying to do, keeping us caught up with 5G and the coronavirus and the economy and trying to make money, like, because it's an opportunity.
You know, Aki, I'm not even gonna be unrealistic. Like, had I not had the current infrastructure that's around me now, you know, I would have been having the same cares of the world. It's scary when you don't know where your next check is coming from that's gonna buy your next meal. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That stuff is
Right.
just to think about it. I'm like, dang, you know, there's people out there that really have that worry right now. There's people out there that really have that fear. There's people out there that's like, when's the next WIC check gonna come through and things of that nature. Like, we've been so caught up on this system, they could actually starve us.
Absolutely.
As if putting a seed in the ground won't allow us to eat, have something to eat. We are caught up real bad, and I hope that we begin to see where we need to focus our attention and where we need to begin converging our efforts, because we can't be in these last days worried about how I'm gonna eat.
Right.
You can't.
You got to make a decision between being lawful or eating some food.
Yeah.
You have to have those resources, which means we got to be connected as a community. Everybody can't be a farmer.
Indeed.
Because when the farmer gets sick, where he going to go? You know what I'm saying? When the farmer got 50 acres, who going to protect 50 acres?
Somebody got to
You need a lot of people because if everybody know you have food and this goes down, but see, you're going to need people. And then that's once you have that community say, listen, we will take this shift and we'll work, do this and do that.
And I'm glad you bring that up, Aki. I realize that I love. It's a weird trait about me, Aki, but low key, even though I rejected this nature about myself, I realize it really comes to fruition. It give me goosebumps. I love a good battle. I love and
our father's a
enjoy
man of what?
war.
So of course.
So when I see contention coming, there's a part of me that would avoid it, but then there's a part of me that's like, do something, like throw a rock over there and make them look this way and then look that way, like you didn't do it.
the sword will never depart.
You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a part of me that loves that confrontation, and I know that the impending confrontation of our two separate worlds are gonna collide. Like what you mentioned, if we got all this food going, who's gonna defend it? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not about to back down. I have a child on the way.
We a lamb and a lion. It's all about appropriateness.
King.
So when we come into a house, we proclaim our peace first.
Indeed.
And if they don't deal it, we shake off the dust off our feet. But if you run up behind me and you chase me, you're gonna get what you're looking for. And that, but guess what? We follow the order.
Indeed.
We follow the order, and that's what it's about. But yeah, we gonna get that time, because it's talking about that for the hunger, neighbors gonna be kicking in your door trying to see good people. Where's a good man? Again, like you said, you don't want to be in that position, because a good man whose child is starving, he gonna do what he got to do.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to be prepared for that. And the only way you're gonna survive that is community. And it don't mean everybody in your community means I'm good here, I'm good there, and I'm good there. And we talked about these things prior to
Indeed.
it. That's why we having all these meetings with all these people that have something to offer, so that we're in communication. And it's not that guy's the leader, that guy's the leader. He's the leader of his group. He's the leader of his group. But we know YAH is the leader. Yeshua is the leader. And we know we can go there for that. We know we can go there for that.
That's so true. And if you remember Dawood, you know, he spent his time. I never seen humility expressed in such depth, where he avoided Saul for his whole life. The end of Saul's life, Dawood spent avoiding him, although Saul pursued him so hotly and so intensely and sought for David's life, to the point where he in the wilderness, and he sees a man sharing all these sheep, over 1,000 sheep. And he's like, hey, I'm hungry. My men are hungry. I got men with me. Let him know that, you know, we've been protecting your sheep. You know, just if he's had anything he can offer us,
Right.
you know, we'll take it. The man comes back, gives word. Who is David? Who are you? David just lost it. He lost it. He was like, hey, everybody grip up. All you heard was you heard bullets loaded.
Being nice. We could have took it.
You heard metal clanging. You heard like the commotion, and his men know what it's like to be bloodthirsty. Like, oh, we get to kill something today,
Being bloodthirsty and hungry.
Like, oh, we get to kill something today. David was like, yo, you tell your mans we about to kill everything that piss against the wall.
You see who was what was it? Was it Carathites? What was it? Or the Carathites.
Funny thing I learned as well. What was his name, babe? The one that It was Nabal.
Nabal was the husband.
And Abigail is the wife.
The wife.
Nabal is a descendant of Caleb.
Really?
That's why he had so much sheep.
So
he had land.
Right.
He had land. He had everything. But that's that thing when you inherit things you didn't work for. That's why he behaved like that. Like, who's this man? I've been a king. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had all. So he's drinking drunk. Mary finds out like, yo, David was about to come murder you. I had to go and do all these things to make sure that he didn't come and slay our whole house.
Right.
It shattered him because he probably wasn't even a fighter like that. You know what I'm saying? He just probably ran his mouth all the time because he never really had to do it. He was a dignitary in Israelite society. He was he just respected him because, hey man, that's Caleb's great grandson. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all the elders respected him. They just gave him that, even though there was nothing in his character that deserved it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when it's time to turn it on, it's gonna come on. But that's why I don't advocate men being soft. The Bible itself does not advocate. He says I'm sending effeminate men to hell.
That's like the Wizard of Oz, bro. The lion with no heart. I mean, that's not the brand.
I'm sending all you effeminate men to hell. No effeminate is going to inherit the kingdom. No coward is going to inherit the kingdom. If you ain't ready to die for your people and for your nation, man, let it go, man. Let it go. Don't even bring your fear this way. Oh, I'm scared. Go home. Go sleep underneath your wife. Go sleep underneath whoever, your husband. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And the problem is we have a nation of people that grew up with our fathers. We knew that from when we was 5-6 years old. We were taught that. But you have a nation of people being brought up without that. And a mother can't teach a son how to be a warrior.
Indeed.
She can teach him how to defend himself and how to lash out and do this, but he can't teach him how in your patience, your cheerful countenance. That listen, I ain't looking for no problems, but hey, if it gotta be,
however it's gonna go, that's how it go.
I'm telling you, right?
It's gonna be, that's how it be. My squad gonna keep it thumping like a hammer, like a Maccabee.
We didn't finish that, did we?
We're at verse. It's gonna come as a snare. So verse 36, watch you therefore and pray always that you be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. And in the daytime he was teaching in the temple, and at night he went out and abode on the mount that is called the Mount of Olives. And all the people came early in the morning to him in the temple to hear him.
Amen. And when you're talking about that spirit, that warrior spirit, it was a spirit that was put on us that caused us to flee, to have a whole ship full of us and 20 white men. And that's a spirit of fear that was put on us.
You running at a shaking leaf.
Right. So that curse is over with. That 400-year sentence is over with. So now you're seeing the men step up. You're seeing the real men step up because that whatever fear that might have been in the way or concern is being removed because that's a spirit. So when he's talking about raising up the tents of David, he's putting that same spirit that said, how dare you defy the living armies, the armies of the living Elohim. David stepped up because it was a spirit on him. So that's what's returning to our nation because we're being born, because that's what our nation was born out of, that type of spirit. So let's go to 2nd Esdras chapter 15. We're going in Apocrypha. We're going to look, because again, this whole coronavirus, that's just one plague. That's just the beginning.
Look at me whipping the swords out. Oh snap, yay Don, you done put me back in commission, goddamn.
Think about it. If one plague happened, then it's like, oh my goodness, but stuff happens. But when it's back to back to back, see, people say, I remember Wes and I were talking last week. He's like, well, how do we, prepare the people for what's next after this coronavirus thing comes on? How do we prepare them for the next plague that's coming through? Because until this place is destroyed, it's going to be one after the other, after the other. It's been like that since. Hurricane, storm, even on their so-called Easter, they're having tornadoes, all churches blowing up on fire. All kind of things. And then there's wars and rumors of war going on. Iraq and China is talking, you know what I'm saying? They working, North Korea, all these countries are preparing for this big thing that's about to happen. So the best way to prepare our people is, listen, in your patience possess your soul. This is just the beginning. It's coming, but just know it's not for you.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Help yourself.
I also want to shout out Brother Wesley, man. I put him on the spot and just bounced. Was like, yo, Wes, come read, man. He's been holding it down since. You know, we're thankful for his growth and all that he's been able to inherit during this time, man. I'm super grateful for that.
Praise Yah.
2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak you in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in your mouth, says Yahuwah, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against you. Let not the incredulity of them trouble you that speak against you. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness.
So the people that do not have faith in this word, they're going to die in that. Just like those that are in the law will be judged by the law. Those without the law are going to perish without the law. So there's going to be people, the faithful are going to be here in this time. But what are they going to have faith in? Themselves? The priest got to deliver the message in season and out of season. We can't be, we got to be quarantined because they're telling them. If y'all wanted to get us, he'd have got us. You have a job. This is the time when the judgment is coming out. Somebody got to proclaim the judgment. Somebody got to give an alternative. Look, you don't have to be cut off in that judgment. But if you cowering and hiding under the rock, you're no different than a Gentile. And you're not showing your faithfulness if you're afraid of the things they're afraid of.
Close that door with the cigarette smoke.
Yeah. Can you close that door, brother?
Verse 5. Behold, says Yahweh, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, destruction.
So he told us point blank. Yahweh said, I will bring plagues upon the world, not among America. Because America didn't do everything by themselves. Everybody, Psalms 83, they took crafty counsel. Even this coronavirus, they got together and they planned this. This is crafty counsel. Now, they didn't plan all these people going to die, but they planned this big shutdown, how everything just shut down at once. They planned this. Go ahead.
Verse 6, for wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore, says Yahweh, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cries unto me.
He said, I will hold my tongue no more. So where he wasn't talking through prophets, he wasn't talking through his people, we didn't even know who we were. Now the speech is coming out. Now the understanding. Did we know anything about this 4 years ago? We didn't know nothing. We knew basic biblical we didn't have the teacher. We didn't have the understanding. But now it's here. Why now? Right before this happened, the understanding is coming to us line for line, precept for precept.
Hallelujah.
It's for this season. If you understand what's going on and you know what's coming next, it's your job to tell the people and to warn the people. You're a watchman. You have to blow that shofar. He told Hadassah, you think that y'all don't have you here at this time for a reason? Indeed. And if you don't step up and speak the tongue of Yah and speak for your people now during this season, guess what? Somebody else gonna do it. But then your family gonna get dealt with. And that's the same thing right now. If you don't use this opportunity to speak and calm your people down, calm the nations down, tell them what they can do in this dark season, and you just seek to protect yourself, we already unworthy. We already unworthy. Why he gonna give you that mercy? And he gonna give that mercy to other people.
Okay, and for those who don't know who Hadassah is, that's Esther when she was dealing with the Persians.
Come on.
Verse 9. And therefore, says Yahuwah, I will surely avenge them. And I've been dealing with so many different groups, but I've been trying, the names is Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yahweh.
Listen, what we gonna say? Yahshua come down and say it's Yahweh Shai. Nah, it's Yahushua. We gonna be like,
no, your name is.
We don't even speak Hebrew. We grew up in Babylon, so we doing the best we can. Now, what we not gonna say? Jesus.
Nah,
we know that for sure.
Nah. I'm against Jesus.
It's not. I'll say all of them. Because at the end of the day, anyone could be right.
There's a documentary I gotta send to you as well, man. When you see what the Roman Church was really doing around the time of the slave trade, what they was really what a godparent really is, fam. you wouldn't want nothing to do with the name Jesus, man.
You know what the name of it is?
It was by YAH. If you put YAH, High Point NC, High Point North Carolina, he has a documentary I can send. And
yeah, we check it out.
Yeah,
definitely.
man. Verse 9. Second Esdras chapter 15 and verse 9. And therefore, says Yahweh, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Mitzrayim,
That's
Egypt.
what's happening right now. Our people are being led to a slaughter. You got the leader of one of the largest camps in this country telling his people to go get vaccinated. Our people are being led to the slaughter.
Could you elaborate on that?
The largest, we have video showing one of the large, we don't call out names. We go to you directly. Came outright on video, the bishop, and told folks to go ahead and get vaccinated. He instructed his people to get vaccinated. Clue number one should be when you got to give your social security number to come up and keep the Shabbat with somebody. That's clue number one of who they work for. So our people are being led to the slaughter. Our people are being told, oh, black people are dying at an alarming 60%. Why did it happen in Atlanta? And we black as ever here. But, it's happening in the places where it got high black on black crime. Oh, interesting. Oh, very interesting. What a coincidence. You had all these black people dying in Chicago, dying in Detroit from so-called black on black violence. And now COVID-19 comes, all them people just dying from that. But then Atlanta is Chocolate City. We ain't dying like that. It don't add up. China, of all places where this thing broke out, they ain't had no vaccines. How they survived? You telling me we survived syphilis? We survived all the AIDS stuff they got going. We survived all these things, the smallpox. That's why we were brought here, because we could survive the Gentiles' diseases. They brought Africans. They tried to enslave the Indians. The Indians were dying off of this stuff. Our people are being led to the slaughter. Who's going to speak to them? We know our people are sheeple. Me and Elder was just talking about this earlier. We know our people are sheeple. If they turn on the TV and the TV says go that way, and you have a voice and you know we need to go right, that's your job to say something.
Okay.
Now, after I say something, that's on them. My hands is free. It tells us that right in Ezekiel, your hands are free. Our salvation is literally tied into one another and how we relate to one another.
Verse 11, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Mitzrayim with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof.
So there's got to be at least 10 more plagues. At least. Because he said, I'm going to send them back the plagues of Egypt as before. So them same plagues, which means the firstborns are going to get killed off. That was the last one. So this is what's going to get the Gentile to bend down, because somebody's going to stand up here at threat of life, when nobody want to listen to them, and everybody's going another direction because the government giving out money, this, that, and the other, or I'm straight, I got it good, I got 100 guns and pounds of food, and I'm good. But somebody going to stand up and say, no, this is going to get worse until you let our people go, till you tell our people who they are, they give them their great substance so they can go about their business, so that maybe you can get out of here and go about your business. Because they going to have to leave too. That's why you ain't got to argue with folks about getting out of here. Nah, you going to get out of here. Everybody going to get out of here.
It is not going to be inhabitable.
Right. Everybody going to get out of here. So it's pointless to argue about somebody about getting out of here. Indeed. But get their minds ready for that reality so that they don't be like our ancestors that fighting against prophecy, begging for Egypt. He don't want that. He wants us to be kings and queens and to go back to where you can actually not have to worry about somebody coming here taking your house from you.
Verse 12. Mitzrayim shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Elohim shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation.
So it's going to get so bad. If folks would stay here, would build up a nice place for them and stay here forever, live here forever, if they could. But that doesn't make them a bad person. Maybe they don't understand prophecy. But at the end of the day, y'all still love them. He's saying, no, your seed's not growing. Nothing is happening. It's destroyed. Now you have to leave. Now, when you telling somebody in advance that this thing is going to happen, that's what builds the faith. That's how you have faith in somebody. Go ahead.
Verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein.
The whole world. Go ahead.
For the sword and their destruction draws near, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand.
Nation against nation. You've seen the same prophets saying the same things over and over. Go ahead.
For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
New world order. Who cares about a president? Who cares about a king? Who cares about all that? It's destroyed. If you are just trying to survive, you can't even get food. If they do martial law, they're stopping the truckers. That means you're not trucking in any new food. You're not distributing any new food. You can't go freely to go buy food. Then they set it up where you can only go to this one place, this government, this truck, this FEMA camp, or wherever to get food. Now you don't have a choice.
Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able.
I want to go over there. I know my boy's over there. He got food. He got guns. He got bullets. He got stuff that I need. Let me go over there so I can get that. No, it's cut off. You can't even go from one city to the next. So you have to be ahead of that trend. You have to see what's going on and you have to prepare. This is why he said, listen, whoever's on the housetop, you don't got time to go get your stuff downstairs. So you got to have whatever you have has to be there, which is that faith. That faith has to be intact. That, look, I know I don't have time to go grab up 400 pounds of food and this
you can't carry it.
60, guns and this, that, and the other. You have to be ready. For one, you got to be prepared. You got to have something. You're not just trying to walk out there naked. The kids got to eat. You got to be able to protect what you have. But be ready always, no matter what. Don't be thinking you're going to go way across town to go get your clothes you left back over here. Be ready because you know the Father could come at any time. And you're leaving on faith. Because guess what? You leaving on faith. But guess what? All these other people don't got faith and they got their stuff already saved for you. When he was getting ready to kill Isaac, he said, don't touch him. Then he looked up, there was already a lamb right there. Y'all got it.
King.
He just want us to play our role. We the leading people. We acting like prima donnas that sit in that chair and they waiting for us to go up there and play the role. And we, I wear my this. I need this. Give me some more makeup. All he want us to step up and just embody this word. Indeed. And he gonna do it. He told you a mighty stretched our arm. I could maybe bench press now 235, maybe.
Hey.
That ain't no mighty arm or stretched
really.
our arm. And when I work out, I think the best we got it to was probably like 300 when we was working out.
Probably.
And that's still not a stretched out arm, a mighty arm. But Yah is going to do this exactly how he did it every other time, through miracles, through making a point. These are my people. They believe in me. You not finna do anything. You think you strong? I got something for you. It ain't finna be one little slap up. He finna give you a whole 10 more pieces to go with that bucket.
He said, you are my battle axe. With you shall I subdue the nations. Woo. Verse 19, a man shall have, verse 18, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid.
They pride. Nah, I don't care. I understand a certain thing this way, and that's going to be it. I'm not going to accept the fact that Yah gave word to all the nation. He gave everybody a lane. Everybody don't got the same thing. And their pride, I don't like this brother. I don't like that brother. Or he don't give me the honor. I done did all this stuff. And that pride gonna cause us to get killed because none of us have enough on our own. But pride will tell you, I'm good. I got what I need. But you're not dealing with men. We fighting spiritual wickedness in high places, principalities, things that we can't even see and don't even know. But guess what? When we're together, we have a better chance. And that doesn't mean we all under some one person, but we are together knowing that you need me, I got you. I need you, you got me. That's together. And that's not pride. Pride is like, man, forget that, whatever. Listen, the world is ending and we're about to become a nation. So who cares about all this petty stuff, man?
Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
The great tribulation. That's what's coming ahead of us. But it doesn't have to be our tribulation. We don't have to suffer the way the world is going to suffer. Because if you just accept your punishment and acknowledge your sins and the sins of your forefathers, you already did your time. Why you want to extend that?
2 Ezra chapter 15 verse 20. Behold, says Elohim, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Libanus, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen,
All right.
so will I also do and recompense in their bosom, says Yahweh Elohim.
Okay, so at what point did we believe that he was not going to, it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander? He said judgment starts in my house. We got judged. So the same things we went through is going to come to them because they have to willingly choose Yah. And we didn't willingly choose Yah once he said, hey, have you heard of Yah? Oh, yeah, I like him. No, we had to get beat into submission. So that's what's happening to the nations. And they don't care about, this happening or that happening, or they lose this and lose that. They start losing money. Now they care.
Verse 22, my right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and has consumed the foundations of the earth, and the sinners, like the straw that is kindled. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, says Yahweh.
The church period is over with.
That's it.
That you're covered under the blood, and he's giving. He don't want to kill.
The law
just like
is done
the woman.
away.
Just like he said to the woman, like, listen, sin no more. Just don't do it no more. You got grace. I'm not finna stone you to death. Them times pass. As we start getting prepared to walk in that land, folks start dying for collecting sticks. Because Yah has his eyes on there. If you do something in the other room and do something, eventually I might catch up with you and you'll get in trouble. But if I'm sitting right here looking at you doing something, judgment finna be quick. And that's where we're moving to. We're moving away from the age of the Gentile where we can decide what we think is good, that whole democracy, that demonocracy crap. The majority rules. That time is over. It ain't majority rules. It's one person rule. Yeah. And he said, this is his rule. It doesn't matter what you vote for.
I will not spare them. Go your way, you children, from the power. Defile not my sanctuary. For Yahweh knows all them that sin against him, and therefore delivers he them unto death and destruction. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and you shall remain in them. For Elohim shall not deliver you, because you have sinned against him.
So the plagues have come upon the whole earth. So these plagues are now for the whole earth. Is not just for the children of Yashra'al. In Deuteronomy 28 said, well, I'm going to cause all these things to stick to you. The whole world is getting it now. They were under grace before because it was never told to them. But now it's coming towards them, the whole world. Go ahead.
Behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Caramanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians.
All right, drop down to verse 36.
And dung of men unto the camel's hue. For there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth, and they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. And then shall there come great storms from the south and from the north, and another part from the west. And strong winds shall arise from the east, and shall open it. And the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the stars stir to cause fear toward the east, and west wind shall be destroyed.
All right, jump to 46. We jumping around a little bit for time, but you can read through this on your own.
And you, Asia, that are partaker of the hope of Babylon, and are the glory of her person, Woe be unto you, you wretch, because you have made yourself like unto her, and have decked your daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in your lovers, which you have always desired to commit whoredom with you.
So the judgment is going to come to every nation that wants to hold on to that Babylonian system, that system of whoredom and confusion. So if you, Israel, are no different. If you try to hold on to that same system, you will be judged in it. Just because you had grace before where he was like, I'm not going to kill you off because I'm going to preserve your seed. I'm going to give you an opportunity because you're going to serve this punishment. It's just like when you go to jail, they're not going to kill you. You got a sentence. You got to do the sentence. Even if they're going to kill you, you're on death row for a specific amount of time. But when that sentence is up and you set to be free, you turn around and kill somebody in jail. You think they'll be like, you're up, your sentence is up, you good. So this is why folks are still dying. And look who's dying. You ain't seen believers, people that are tearing in this word and working hard. He's taking out idols. He's taking out Hebrew idols. I know you heard about the brother in New York, the Comforter.
I've heard rumor. I don't know who's who though. What's that about?
Judgment is coming out.
He died, didn't he?
All these people claiming to be Christ are being taken out.
Okay, yeah. I realized y'all really ain't hadn't been playing this season. Like everyone that's been like on the fence, he was just chop. I'm done.
Listen, what did he say? He's gonna do the lukewarm.
Spit you out of his mouth.
That's it. But if you cold, at least I can try to chasten you because I love you. Saul was cold, so he chastened him.
The thing about lukewarmness is that you're neither swayed by hot or cold influence. You're just like, I'm just gonna kind of stick right here. At least when you're cold, you know, all right, it's polarized. There's something that will make it work. So if I have a magnet, if you're polarized to the south, I can still do something. If you're polarized to the north, but if you've lost all your polarity, the whole earth is based on magnetism. The whole earth, motors, the fan, everything, your alternator in the car. You can cause a perpetual cycle of rotation based on opposite polarities.
Right.
Man and woman, that's polarity. That's polarity again. Y'all separating the two, and you know that ebb and flow of love, and you go away, love again, go away. 7 days of separation, you come together. That's like a perpetual love that you can be part of for the rest of your life. Right. So if you're lukewarm, that's death.
They can't do nothing with you.
It's kind of interesting what you just said about that. You said the opposites basically generate love. Because when you think about it, like. People say, well, what's the opposite of love? Is hate. But they say, no, it's not hate, it's apathy. Apathy is right in the middle, just like you were saying. It's that neutral part.
Just not care at all.
So
Whether you're living or you're dying, an apathetic person is not unaffected. Like,
right. He can use you if you cold. Like he said, he called Pharaoh his servant. He said, I'm gonna make you where you. I'm gonna show my might in you, so I can use you for that. Because listen, at
least I can harden his heart,
like the adversary of the devil. If the adversary of the devil turn around and do something good for you, y'all like, what am I do with this? This man stepped out the hedge. You supposed to be destroying this man.
So we've read Jubilees, we've read Enoch, and we know what happened with the Watchers. Imagine if Satan had said, when y'all was like, you know what, I have a job for you. You can go and you could tempt and bring however many onto this side. He was like, nah, I'm good. All right, you know what? Guess what? Since I have absolutely no use for you, how about we just throw you to the lake of fire right now?
Like the mother angels. I ain't got no use for you. You just reserved for everlasting.
Yeah, like, I want you to tempt this person. He's like, nah, man, I'm good.
So this is the church periods he was talking about. Laodicea. They just got spewed out. So this is where we are now. Which one are you going to choose? The church of brotherly love? Or the church of lukewarmness, where on the Shabbat I'm holy, but every other day ain't no telling. So a servant who's trying to learn from you, they like, I don't know, I can't know what direction you're gonna go. So you're just gonna get spewed out. What are you gonna do with a tool that works, a gun that work every now and then?
Nah, I can't use that.
I can't trust it. If it don't work, guess what? I know it doesn't work. It never works. Let me take it somewhere to get fixed or something.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking that it's gonna work one day, but if the gun might work, I don't know. You're going to have to get rid of it. Either fix it or get rid of it. And if I can't fix it and it's still left or right, I can't tell, I'm going to get rid of it. And that's what he has to do with us. So this is the season where, okay, you were lukewarm. Okay, cool. But guess what? It's time to turn that heat up. And he's helping us. He's cutting the heat up in the furnace.
Indeed. Verse 47. Woe be unto you, you wretch, because you have made yourself like unto her. Verse 48. You have followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore, says Elohim, I will send plagues upon you.
So here's some of the plagues.
Widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, pestilence, to waste your houses with destruction and death.
So it's even more plagues. He already gave you 10 specific plagues because he said the plagues of Egypt. So those are specific plagues. Now he's giving you more. Widowhood, poverty, which is coming right now. Widowhood is which is coming because the old white men dying.
Widowhood. These women stayed without their men. They're locked up and they're getting killed in the streets.
And look at right now. Look at the age group it's taking. It's taking older people. It's making widows. If it's killing a bunch of young people, they wouldn't have been married yet. You ain't no widow. It's killing married age people that have been with their wife for a little while. Now it's killing those people. Now it's leaving widows.
Verse 50, and the glory of your power shall be dried up as a flower. It's a hot line. Mm-hmm. The heat shall rise that is sent over you. You shall be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive you. Would I, with jealousy, have so proceeded against you, says Yahweh, if you had not always slain my chosen, exalting the stroke of your hands, and saying over the dead when you were drunken, set forth the beauty of your countenance. The reward of your whoredom shall be in your bosom, therefore shall you receive recompense. Like as you have done unto my chosen, says Yahweh, even so shall Elohim do unto you, and shall deliver you into mischief.
Does it matter if you are Israel doing this or another nation doing this? Mm-mm. If it's the time of judgment, it's going to be everywhere. But it don't have to be us because we've been getting judged. But see, we've been getting judged, but he's been giving us mercy during this time so that we can be here in this season. So we don't have to continue in this. You can stop. That's the beauty with YAH. That's why he said your anger should not even go into the next day. Because every day you get a new chance to renew because he gave you breath in your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Like as you have done unto my chosen, verse 56 says, Yahuwah, even so shall Elohim do unto you and shall deliver you into mischief. Your children shall die of hunger, and you shall fall through the sword. Your cities shall be broken down, and all yours shall perish with the sword in the field. That they that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh, and drink their own blood, for very hunger of bread and thirst of water. You as unhappy shall come through the sea and receive plagues again.
So we as unhappy shall come through the sea, that's just like part in the Red Sea, and receive plagues again. Now, who's he talking about here? Because somebody else went through the sea too and they died and received plagues.
Verse 60. And in the passage they shall rush on the idol city, and shall destroy some portion of your land, and consume part of your glory, and shall return to Babylon that was destroyed. And you shall be cast down by them as stubble, and they shall be unto you as fire, and shall consume you and your cities, your land, and your mountains, as your woods and your fruitful trees shall they burn up with fire. Your children that they carry away captive, and look, what you have, they shall spoil it and mar the beauty of your face.
So the judgment is already declared, and we're going to stop here. But you can go to Jeremiah chapter 51 and read 1 through 9, and you can see the judgment on America and the warning to not be caught in her iniquity. So all we have to do is just peace, be still. Just continue doing what you're doing. You know, use your wisdom, be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. We're not trying to go out there and be in somebody's face that's coughing in your face, or you trying to stand next to a 5G tower or do some foolishness just to test Elohim. You ain't got to do that. Just carry on, continue with what you're doing, and prepare your mind for getting out of here, because he's going to get us out of here. But you have to be a witness. The whole reason we were put here on this earth is to be his witnesses, to testimony, to be a light unto the Gentiles. This is our time. This is our season. So we can't expect anybody to have faith in our Elohim if, while in the face of danger, we don't have our faith in Elohim. So That's all we're gonna do today. Jonathan, you have any last closing remarks before we close out?
I think this was very timely, Aki. I was led by the Spirit this morning to just reach out and be like, what's going on with my Aki? I saw that picture. Your countenance was real cool, man. I just really liked it, man. It was just a dope picture.
Praise you.
And I was just like, what's going on, Aki? And then, went to bed, woke up this morning. You was on my heart. You was pressed upon my heart. So I was like, hey, let's get up. And you let me know you had this going on. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm coming to Bible study today.
Praise y'all. It was good to have you, man. And like I said, it's not. All we doing is proclaiming what's in this word. Elder can at least I can't make nothing. I don't do this stuff, but I can understand what I'm being taught, and we can give it back out. And I learned a lot from you when you were here, and that a lot of that also made its way into the classes because I understood early, just like you understood. It ain't about us as a people. It's about this word, and we don't all have it. So we got to come together, and he's forcing us to come together now because we don't have a choice because nobody got enough. Now, again, we could be like those people in that pride thinking you got it, you good on your own. And he told you what's going to happen to those people because if you were humble, you would understand the man that had the big barn. On that day that you went and built a bigger barn, your life was required of you. All right. Elder, you have any closing remarks before we close out?
Just want to pray for, pray for our people that are, in a position to be redeemed and, all of us are going through a pressurized situation at this time. And again, the class was beautiful because basically you went through the significant scriptures that told us, counseled us to look up because our redemption draweth nigh. You don't have to look up.
Amen.
You can look to yourself. You can look to your, own means or resources, and you missed it.
Right.
Because you can't. Meaning, the Creator, He knows, and He's there trying to offer us His hand in this situation. And again, we can either take His way or we can take our way. And I don't see a third option. So, again, He said, in our patience and our endurance possess your souls. And He said, look up. And this was all that you covered in your class. Give thanks for your redemption draws near. So I'm wanting to look up. So I don't have time to be, looking down and around. You know what I mean? It's like I prayed for this, to see these, and I preached that this season was coming. And this is a great time, the greatest time in history to be living. I mean, you could have lived in a time of Mashiach or Moses or David or Abraham. But you live in when you're going to see him fulfill his prophetic word.
Right.
That he spoke to the prophets. So that's an exciting
all righteousness be fulfilled. Daniel chapter 9, you get to see the end. That's what everybody want to see is the end. What is the end of the movie? Where we get vindicated and Yah get his glory. Anybody who serve Yah, I just want Yah to get all his glory. I just want you to get all your glory on the earth. And we get to be part of that. So nobody said, and repeat this, nobody said, just don't do nothing. Just sit around and just wait for, a magic carpet to come pick you up. No, do what you need to do, but understand not one of us, not one can save ourselves. We can't, what do we need a savior for? If we could save ourselves.
Come on.
We're not going to make it. We're not going to keep every commandment and think that we're going to commandment our way in the kingdom, but you have to keep the commandments. That's your wisdom. But an understanding that it's going to, like I said earlier, our salvation is tied into each other.
Indeed.
It's not about, that's the whole reason he created our body the way it is, to understand that we are a body. We have to work together, and he's giving us the motivation. So again, we're Savior Word of Yah. We have the truth books on SaviorWordofYah.org, where you can download free truth books. We have the His Story now available where you can get that. We're shooting the children's production because our children are the future. We have to teach them. We have to get them prepared because they're the ones that are getting ready to be in that. We will likely be the elders in that season.
He like that.
We will likely be the elders in that season. And this is a process. You have to understand prophecy. This ain't just tomorrow everything happens. We know if it starts today, there's at least 7 years. So this is time going on.
And it could be,
But if you don't want to be that man bent over like this, looking like Sis
With his
Simkate
hands on
over
his
there,
loins.
bent over there like this in birth pains, then you have to be prepared. You have to already come to grips that Yah's will is going to be done. You loved me so much that you made sure you had somebody teach it to me, and you made sure you had somebody help me understand this. And now I'm able to walk boldly, understanding that what he said is going to happen. That's what's going to cause the other nations to say Yah is with you.
well, it's an exciting time to live in. And people are still blind. It's like it said, blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles come in.
Right?
So that their fullness is coming.
It's coming.
So we gonna wake up out of that deep sleep. So
We waking up. It's gonna take the real men of Yashra'al to humble themselves and to stand up and acknowledge what's going on. You got too many of our people just sitting here not knowing what to do, and they being left for the slaughter. This is for them. You don't have to understand everything to have faith in the final thing. Listen, we gonna be good. We going home. The ball's coming to us, and we gonna keep the ball forever. It's never going back over to the Gentiles or any other nation. And if you understand that, then you can empower one another. But if you looking at your teacher, they ain't got nothing to say about this. They're afraid. What you think the people gonna do? And that ain't gonna give Yah glory. His people running like it's some slave movie or whatever. This is our time. So praise Yah. I don't have the screen today, so I know I can't see the comments. You had the thing up. I don't know if there was any questions or comments that we need to go over before we close out.
Thank you for coming out. And
Hey man, it was
Brother
an
Young.
absolute
really
pleasure.
love your spirit of unity and being I mean that's what it's about.
Right.
You're an Israelite that understand it's not about camps or personalities or perspectives. We all got perspective, and I really, for your age, really appreciate your maturity, bro.
Praise Yah.
And again, shout out to Asa and the farm and all the community.
They're delivering right now, aren't they?
Yes.
So yeah, definitely, brothers and sisters, man, you don't have to expose yourself to COVID-19. You can go to Asa's Farms, the one here, Atlanta Harvest, right in Jonesboro,
yep.
and you can pick it up, and you're gonna get natural food, naturally grown food, and then you can also, when you're talking about growing your own food, you're gonna want a good fruit to grow from, a good vegetable to grow from, so that you can start reproducing that way. And they're even going as far to deliver to you, so you don't have to be. When they start trying to tell you to go to these FEMA camps, because they got one set up right over there on Stonecrest, right across from the mall. Where they call it COVID. Yeah, where they calling it COVID-19. They're getting cruise ships. They're getting all these things. It's prophetic. All these things are happening. The cruise ships are docked for at least another 60 days. Anything could happen right now. So this is a wonderful season. Praise Yah for that. Let's go ahead and close out in prayer. All brothers remove their head coverings, and all sisters pray with their heads covered fully. We're going to face the east towards Jerusalem. Brother West, can you close us out in prayer, please?
Father Yah, Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. We thank you, Father Yah, for this study tonight, Father Yah. Thank you for allowing your servants to come together, Father Yah, even amidst all the chaos, Father Yah. And we ask you, Father Yah, please strengthen our hearts in this hour and still our resolve, Father Yah, so that we can be ready to receive your instruction, Father Yah, whatever, and be available, Father Yah, to receive your instruction at this time. Pray for a spirit of clarity, Father Yah, as well, and to help us keep our minds and our hearts stayed on you, Father Yah, and to not get caught up in all the flung around at us, Father, and not get lost in all the hype, chaos. But help us keep our minds on you, Father, and help us stay sober-minded, and help us to proceed in wisdom, Father, moving forward. In Yashra'al, Mashiach's holy mighty name we pray. Amen.